Hi guys, how is it going? Andreas from BidX here, and welcome to this interview with an exciting guest today. The topic will be Amazon Advertising 2022, what remains, what changes. And I'm here with Lazar Žepinić, and I hope that I got the pronunciation nearly correct, at least.
Better than like 99%.
Okay, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Great, great. And he's the founder and CEO of Sellers Alley, which is an Amazon advertising agency. And yeah, thank you for joining.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. So, as you said, my name is Lazar, and I'm founder and the owner of Sellers Alley. We're Amazon advertising agency. At least we started like that. We expanded to other platforms. So we're partners with TikTok and do some other stuff as well. But core of our business is definitely Amazon advertising.
Cool. And you've partnered with TikTok. How does that look like? How can we imagine like a partnership with TikTok?
Madness.
I can imagine that.
No, I'm just kidding. TikTok is an insane platform, and like it's the fastest growing social network. And like just a couple of years ago, it was like more or less completely unknown, and everybody thought at the beginning it's like teenage platform.
Yeah.
But it changed a lot. It has like around 1 billion users at this point, and it's probably one of the cheapest way how to drive traffic to Amazon. One of the things that we did for TikTok is we did a white paper for them about helping to improve ranking of product listings on Amazon by using TikTok.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that is kind of interesting that we did. Also, TikTok has some interesting features that are not available on other platforms. I just like I can talk a lot about that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think it's very interesting. Unfortunately, it's not the topic for today, but maybe we can have it later. But it's so interesting. I think TikTok is inspiring, especially regarding like advertising, because I think you have to take care about a lot of other things than compared to Amazon and like the traditional advertising platforms, Google, Facebook, and stuff like that. So very interesting.
Yeah, definitely something different.
Yeah. Okay, but let's do not talk about too much about TikTok, even though it's very interesting, like I already said. But let's jump right into the topic for today, and this is Amazon. And let's start with a quite interesting topic. Like the past year has gone. We are in 2022 right now, and what's interesting for me is I want to ask if there is something especially interesting for you that was released in 2021. Is there a specific advertising format that was very interesting, and how did you like experience the last year?
Yeah, so last year was definitely like last 2 years were like completely different in like e-commerce and advertising world, and Amazon is becoming a platform that I love more and more now. Like I loved it before a lot, but like now it's becoming like mature platform, and like more and more new options are released. Like a couple of years ago, you would need to wait for like 3 months or 6 months to get like new feature on Amazon, and like if you don't log in like at least like a couple of times a week, you're completely in problem, because like there's so many new stuff, new options, new metrics, everything. Like as you mentioned, like what I find to be like the most interesting that happened during the previous year is definitely Amazon tried to push a sponsored display campaigns a lot, and that's like the biggest sensation of for Amazon for the previous year. And optimization for CPM is definitely something that is completely different and out of the box when it comes to Amazon advertising, and like completely different thing. And that's something that like if you didn't do it so far, you should definitely start doing it. Sponsored display with custom images, with purchasing remarketing, the like all the look back periods of for views that extended up to 90 days, and like that kind of stuff. Like that's something that we never had in Amazon platform before. Like that's something that is insanely good. Like we usually use remarketing by like on other platforms. We weren't really able to do it on Amazon at that point, and like we usually use Amazon Attribution for that kind of stuff. I know that Amazon Attribution is the only way how to do it when you drive external traffic to Amazon, but it's not like the best thing in the world, you know. Like I completely understand Amazon's point of view for that, because Amazon doesn't want anybody else to like mess with the data of Amazon and like be able to see the data of Amazon. Like when you want to track your results on your website, like if you're doing D2C, like what you do there is you either hard code the tag of the platform that you're using, or you have container like Google Tag Manager and like place a bunch of different pixels and tags there, and that way you can track all of the traffic that is going to your website. On the other hand, when it comes to Amazon, they're not really willing to give you that kind of information. So like there is like traffic that is coming from like different platforms like Facebook or like Google Ads or whatever, and like there is Amazon Attribution as a buffer zone, and like there is Amazon on the other hand, and like you always need to compare data from one platform with another to like be sure that you're doing the right thing when it comes to that. And like when it comes to sponsored display campaigns at this point, like they more and more look like DSP in like my opinion. Like DSP was something that was pretty big in the past for sellers that are investing a lot into advertising, and that was the only way how to get there. I know there are a bunch of agencies now that are doing DSP services for clients that are willing to invest less money into DSP advertising. But on the other hand, like with all the options that sponsored display campaigns are offering, like that's something that should be pretty big. And something that I expect to be even bigger in the future of Amazon advertising.
Yeah, crazy. And I think SDAs are one of the most interesting parts of the last month, like you said. And I think this will be a huge topic in 2022 as well. And I also totally feel what you were saying a minute ago. I was coming from Facebook advertising and Google advertising a few years ago, and I can remember that first when I started with Amazon advertising, I thought it was quite boring because there were keywords and nothing else. And this is like with Facebook advertising, Google advertising, you were able to do so many things. And then you got just to Amazon advertising and you were able to, like make advertising for keywords, and that was it. You did not see that much of data, so you weren't able to analyze everything in detail and then optimize everything. And I think they quite had a pace over the last month and maybe even years to launch quite some new features. And I think, sponsored display ads are one of the biggest ones over the last month. Is there, or do you have kind of a best practice for sponsored display ads, maybe from the remarketing point of view? Because I think around about 10% of our clients are using SDAs and not more. And I think a lot of people have problems with getting started, and they do not know this one maybe best practice to start with.
Well, when it comes to best practices, like, you know, when you ask some Amazon guy, like, what do you think about something, they usually say it depends. So it depends on this one as well. When it comes to strategies, like how to do stuff and so on, it really depends on at which stage of your product is in. You know, like if you're just launching products, you probably don't want to start with that kind of campaigns, especially because you don't have remarketing. Like, who are you gonna like remarket at, like, if nobody was there, you know? So like at the beginning, you want to start with something like more like traditional way. We're starting like with automatic campaigns and like expanding to sponsor product campaigns and so on, like diversifying ad groups and so on. And like from there, you should definitely start with other campaign types as well. And at that point, when you get some traction, I would definitely include sponsored display campaigns, and most definitely would start with bidding optimizations for CPM as well. So yeah, as I said, like that's something that is completely different, and like targeting is completely different, optimization is done in a completely different way. But like you need to have some traffic first, so you would be able to like start with those campaigns in the right way. Also, when it comes to custom images, like that's something that is really important as well, like to work on that part. So yeah. I like, it's always about A/B testing, like all of the advertising, like is about A/B testing, like what, and like even if something is working pretty well, like it, and if you see that it's like slowing down for some reason, it might be because of your product, maybe reviews and so on, but also there are a lot of external factors that are affecting your campaigns, like maybe somebody else came with like higher bids or optimizing a different way and so on. So like you should always challenge what you're doing, and like there is no one strategy that fits everybody. So like I would always do A/B tests, even though if something is working, I would create another campaign just to like compete with the current one, to see like if it's gonna get some more traction or so on.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very good advice, because if you hear like kind of a best practice, like you already said, it doesn't fit for everyone, and we have different attribution models. We have different possibilities to like set up the SDA. If we have a look at the attribution model, we have CPC, CPM. It totally depends on what you are willing to do with the ad. If you want to drive some visibility, or you want to have efficient sales, you totally have to set up the ad on a different kind of setup process. So in that case, I think that's very interesting. And like you said, I think there are some differences between DSP and SDA for the moment, especially when it comes to possibilities, like for example, to also include reviews and stuff like that. I think they are working a lot on this advertising type and advertising format. And this takes me to kind of the next question. Is there something specific that you are expecting to come up in 2022, or something that you think that will be a huge topic in the upcoming year?
Well, to be honest, I obviously don't have like internal information from Amazon to know like what they're going to build, but like they were really creative in the previous period, and I expect from Amazon advertising platform to become more and more like DSP platform, like to get more and more options for retargeting and more options to target, and like to basically I feel like, and I think that like what's gonna be like really useful for everybody that sells on Amazon is to have more and more DSP options in their Amazon advertising platform.
Yeah.
So that's my expectation, that it's gonna go in that direction. Like, but it's definitely gonna be more complex. Like, and like when you listen to people that are selling on Amazon for like 5 years or so, they're always talking about like old days when you could do a lot of stuff like with just like making like some simple steps. I think like those days passed, and like with all the terms of service that changed on Amazon, and like Amazon is showing us that their huge focus in the near future and like currently is going to be advertising. So they want to see people that know what they're doing. Like they're going to reward quality traffic, also external traffic as well. Like, like in a perfect world, Amazon sells you real estate for advertising on their website. And like what they want to see is to show your product once and to get one click, and from that one click to get that one sale. And like they're most definitely going to focus on that in the future. And like everybody needs to, like, who is selling on Amazon, like need to be fully aware of like all of the changes that are happening on Amazon. There are like a bunch of them, and they're like the platform is changing rapidly. So like they're going to reward, like if you're optimizing stuff in the right direction, even if like Amazon is not going to reward you for that, you're going to be rewarded just because like you're getting a better position comparing to other sellers that are not doing it.
Yeah, totally agree on that. And talking about placements and positioning. I think one very interesting topic in the last year, even though it was launched, I guess, in 2020, for us was sponsored brand video, so the video ads. And they were very interesting because you had a very small portion of sellers using this ad type. It was very worthy because you could show your USP. You had a big placement on the first site on Amazon. It was kind of mind-blowing. And that changed a little bit over the time. So what would be interesting for me is what were your experiences over the last year? And do you often still use this ad type? And do you think that Amazon is maybe extending placements for video ads in 2022?
I definitely see that Amazon is gonna take more of organic space to become advertising space. And on the other hand, like I definitely like for video ads when they showed up, like they were massive. Yeah. I know like when whoever started advertising using video ads, they worked like pretty well. And like over the time, like we always had like some kind of like excuses, like people are not having videos for their products and so on. But like you don't really always need to have like the highest quality Hollywood style videos. Like like people want to relate to what they're seeing, you know. Like I was talking to my colleagues the other day, and like one of the things that we tested is like the guy that had like tooth like that was broken on a picture selling better than like generic guy like that's a model. It's like people relate to like people that have broken teeth, you know. Like that's something that happens. Just like with reviews, like you want to see video reviews because you want to be like that person that is in a video. Like you want to feel good in the same way as that person that is talking about the product, like how it changed their life or like daily activities or so on. And yeah, definitely. Like I don't feel like that videos are working exactly at the same level as they did at the beginning because the competition grew and so, but definitely with more positions for advertising is definitely thing that needs to be considered and to be used.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very interesting ad format, and I think first heard in September 2022 back, I guess. And I always heard like kind of sellers saying, "Okay, please give me like 2 or 3 months. I have to let a video be produced and something like that." And I was always saying that just make kind of a slideshow and get started because the displacement was so huge and CPCs were like so cheap at that point. And I think this changed, of course, over the time because of rising competition. But I think it's still very interesting placement at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Apart from that, is there something you would say is maybe even more crucial for a seller that maybe even begin in the upcoming year? Because like you already said, competition is rising, CPCs are maybe rising because people are starting to have that focus on advertising and maybe increase budgets, maybe increase bids. More of the big sellers start to take it very seriously. So is there something you would especially say is crucial for the upcoming years, maybe for sellers that are starting newly?
Apart from like checking all the trends on Amazon with all the new features and stuff like that, like what we usually see when we do audits for the accounts, and this is something that happens with like the smallest accounts and with huge accounts, they're all making basic mistakes. You know, like always come back to double check like basic stuff if that kind of stuff is working, and like if you're not like mismatching like match types and ad groups or like adding like some negative keywords that you shouldn't add in some like in some type that is not going to work or is going to block you in any way. Double check your bids because it happens sometimes that you do some stupid mistake that is going to cost you a lot, and that's something that I cannot highlight enough because I see that like there are a lot of cool new features that's really great, but like people are making so many mistakes on basic stuff. Like when I check like an account that is like really small or like 8 or 9 figure seller, they literally all make the same mistakes. They're like super basic, like with adding like keyword that is gonna block like 30% of the keywords in ad group and that kind of stuff. And like if you see that your keywords that are not working for a long period, like take them out from that ad group, create separate ad group for them, like try to give them new life there. And like even if you increase bids for those keywords, that you can see that they're not gonna start working just because like Amazon decided like they're like not working so far, like they're not going to start working now as well, which is kind of stupid. And like don't overpopulate your campaigns with keywords. You don't need hundreds of keywords in one ad group. Like that's not work. Also try to structure campaigns in a manner that are going to work for you the best, like so it's going to be easy for you to manage them, because algorithm doesn't really care what's the structure of your campaigns. So like that's something that it's not going to affect your ranking in any way if you have like campaign this way or that way or so on. So that's something that usually people think it's going to affect you in some other way. Like there are ways, like if you like separate ad groups with keywords, for example, that have like different match types in different ad groups comparing to different match types in different campaigns, it's going to affect you in a manner that you have like budget caps for them and like that kind of stuff. But like apart from that, like it doesn't really make any sense to like structure it like one keyword per ad group or campaign, that kind of stuff. Like really depends like what you want to do there, but like algorithm is not going to see any of it. And like usually people like make some really basic mistakes because you expect to see something like super big somewhere, but like you're not focused on like really basic stuff.
Yeah, totally agree on that. Let me maybe highlight one point. You've said that you do not really would like recommend to create like ad groups with thousands or 1,000 keywords, 500, 600, 700 keywords. I think this is kind of a best practice that changed over time, because when I started with Amazon advertising in I think back to 2016, and you had a look into that courses that were like uploaded in the internet, and they told you to use all these keyword tools and to download all the keywords you get out of that and just upload it. And you had like different ad groups in one campaign to get more keywords inside of one campaign. And I think this leads to, or often leads to, the problem that you lose the overview and you do not really see that some of your most important keywords do not get any impressions because you have such a long list of keywords. And I think this could be a huge problem. And this is something that we often hear from sellers, that they have problems with getting impressions for some keywords. Is there like kind of a tip from your side what you can do if it is the case that you have problems generating those visibilities over the impressions in some campaigns for some products?
Well, first of all, I would definitely make sure that if I'm indexed for those keywords, like that would help.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like if you're okay with it, like don't overstuff ad groups and campaigns with keywords. Try to like make them like reasonable and like group them in like logical manner for you. Like group them by color or by size or by anything that makes sense to like be together. And like try to keep like 30 to 50 keywords in one ad group. Like there is no need to have hundreds of them like all together, because you're gonna end up with just maybe like 10 or up to 30% of them working, and like the rest of them are just gonna stay there. And like if you go and like filter out like the time frame to like the lifetime, you're gonna see that those keywords either didn't have any impressions or just had like something like really shy number of impressions. So like what you want to do, like you want to take them out, create separate campaigns for them, give them new life, and try to do it in that direction.
Yeah. So. Great. And that's kind of a golden nugget question. But we've talked about best practices before, but I have to ask that question because it's so interesting for a lot of sellers. Is there a certain and specific launching strategy that you normally recommend or that you are doing with your agency for newly launched product? Is there a kind of a campaign structure or like something like that you are using when you have a new product?
So yeah, like when we start launching product, obviously we start with automatic campaign. Like we use like that old school approach that is still working pretty well with automatic campaign, and from there like to use some top generic keywords that explain the product the most, and like always harvest the data and like from your search term report from automatic campaigns, like try to expand to different campaign types from there and so on. Like if you have data from your Shopify store, from your Google ads, like take that data and use it on Amazon, because Amazon is definitely a huge search engine, and you are going to use it, like people are using it in more or less the same way that they're using Google nowadays. It used to be different, but at this point, like people are doing researches on Amazon more and more. It used to be like just like people with buying intention are on Amazon, but like now I'm seeing more and more like trends going in the direction that people are seeing Amazon as like research tool for new products. They want to double check what's on the market, and like rather than just going to Google and searching for certain products. So yeah, like use that data, create campaigns for them. Do not mix match types in ad groups. That's gonna be such a huge headache for you when you want to negate some keywords, especially if you have like exact match type as well there. So that's not going to work pretty well when it comes to optimization. So you want to have them in different ad groups or even campaigns. And like with all of that being said in that way, you need to have in mind like that there is like that honeymoon period, and like there is a period of like learning phase for algorithm to understand like what's working in campaign and what's not working. So usually campaigns that you created are not gonna work like perfectly right away. It's gonna take some time for campaigns to start working properly, and from that point you can expect like how to optimize it in the right direction and like do bid optimization and so on. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it always comes down to just keep the basics clean. So if you start with the right campaign structure, if you start with maybe the right keywords, the right bids, you will have a very good launching process in most of the times. And you also will have a lot more or a lot easier optimization process in the future. So I think if you have the basics clean, everything will work in the right direction. And it starts in the launching phase, I guess.
Exactly.
The last question, because of course we are a tool provider, and this is very interesting for me personally. I want to know, from the perspective of an agency, what is your view on like kind of automations, rules that are automatically like optimized keywords and campaigns for you?
Well, when it comes to tools and rules and like any kind of help, like I used to be like pro for humans only, but like over time I realized that I made a mistake, to be honest. And you definitely need help from tools and softwares. I'm more now into like hybrid mode, with tool working for you and having somebody like to monitor everything and to fix something if tool is not able to see in the right direction or so on. Because like there are some really great tools like yours on the market, but like none of the tools is created in a manner that can replace like human creativity. And like there are always things that you can do like as a person in the account, that none of the tools would be able to do it, but like in combination, like BidX and with somebody that knows how to do PPC, that I think that's the best approach how to manage your account, like to have a combination. And that, because a lot of tasks like bidding is repetitive, like you need to do it frequently and so on. And whenever a person needs to do repetitive tasks, it means that they're going to make mistake eventually. And like any kind of mistake in advertising on Amazon or like any other platform is expensive mistake. So you don't want to do that kind of stuff. And also, like if you have team members that are managing the account, managing advertising on the account, those kind of repetitive tasks are like demotivational, and like you don't want to like, tools should be there to help us to work on like creative and nice stuff in the account, like to feel like that you're building something really nice there, and to have tools to do all of the hard work in the back end for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree on that. I think the hybrid solution is the best thing you can do. For example, you've talked about like logically group keywords, referring to like color. We've seen some clients that are using like main keyword campaigns or best performing keyword campaigns. Of course, branded, non-branded, generic is a topic where you need to make your own thoughts, think about if this is necessary and maybe useful for your account and stuff like that. And this is something a tool is not able to provide at that point. This is something you have to take care about yourself. And then when it comes to bidding optimization, like you said, it's repetitive and it's like a little bit, it's math, simply like that. This is something where a tool can definitely help you. But at the end, it's also like hybrid is the best solution. Make your own thoughts and then maybe use some automation to, have the bidding right. That was it from my side. Thank you, Lazar. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
Okay, but that's basically it. Thank you again. Have a nice week, and maybe we hear each other. Maybe in some of the next weeks we can talk about TikTok a little more in detail. This could be a topic. But up to then, have a great week and see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything. Have a great week. Bye.